So I'm going to show you guys the divine lingo in the top headline on Fox News. It's called the Truth Bomb. So again, and if you haven't seen the videos where I talk about the divine lingo that is in these news headlines, what happens is what's happening in the divine realm is controlling and influencing our news, what they report on our news. I'm not saying that the people doing the news directly know that, but the major point is that the divine realm controls and influences what happens in our realm. And that's a truth. So let's read this. DHS chief reveals startling stat on asylum seekers who skip hearings disappear. So what they're saying in this is that
being a good father is important to me.
Hold on.
So being diagnosed with advanced non-small cell lung cancer made me think of all the things that I wanted to teach my kids.
Another true story with Keytruda.
My doctor said I could start on Keytruda, so I did. With each scan, things just got better.
Because when you have the key,
Keytruda offered patients a longer
you'll
life
get
than
better.
chemotherapy, and it could be your first treatment. Keytruda is for adults with non-small cell lung cancer that has spread, who test positive for PD-L1, and whose tumors do not have an...
So when you have the key, you can get better. So what they're saying in this headline, they're saying that there's many people that were called to be a child of God. They were called to be Christians. They were called to be real first fruits. But only a few were chosen. Only a few actually really humbled themselves and made themselves like a child and actually started obeying and seeking out the gospel. So it's the same thing about the parable of when the master called a bunch of people to the house and to the wedding, and they said that most of them said that, hey, I'm pretty much busy, like I can't make it. So it's the same thing, but we're going to look at the words that they're using. The acting Homeland Security Secretary gave lawmakers a glimpse Tuesday into just how many asylum seekers skip their hearings after being released into the United States, telling a Senate panel that a recent program found 90% missed their court dates. See, most of you guys, even though most people know that the end is coming, they know Jesus Christ, they know that he came here to die for your sins, you still are in the world. You're not really making the adjustments that you really need to be pleasing to God, to keep the covenant that God made with Abraham. Only the seed of Abraham, you guys, is the one that is found written in the book of life. Those are going to be the real 144,000 that are going to actually like, the glory of God is going to be deposited in them, and they're going to go out and teach the world, and they're going to be kings, a line of kings and priests, and the sisters are probably going to be married to these kings and priests. So that's just an opinion though. Out of those 7,000 cases, 90 received final orders of removal of absentia. 90%, he said. Remember in the scriptures, Jesus said, 7,000 have not bowed a knee to Baal. Correct. That is a recent sample from families crossing the border, because we're known as immigrants. U.S. Customs and Border Protection reported that it encountered 144,000 migrants at the border in May, a level not seen in decades, describing the situation as full-blown emergency. McAllen said that 60,000 children have entered into DHS custody in just the last 40 days.